Another name I feel like you should know when it comes to the transfer portal for BYU is the name Joshua Dye. Now, that last name may sound familiar, but this Joshua Dye does not have any relation to, James Dye of BYU fame, to my knowledge. Joshua Dye is from William Fields High School down in Arizona, is where he prepped. He originally actually enrolled at UTEP, didn't really play for the Miners, and then ended up going to Southern Utah University this past season, where he absolutely erupted. He ran for, wait for it, 1,831 yards, nearly, 1,800 yards and 28 touchdowns with a season-long run of 92 yards, and he was like the focal point of Southern Utah's offense all season long. Now, what they have done with Delane Fitzgerald down there at SUU is they have built an offense that is predicated upon having a bell cow running back who is just an absolute dynamic player, and Joshua Dye is the latest iteration of that. He's 6 foot. So what do they list him at? They list him at 5'11", 205 pounds. So good size for a running back, especially at the FCS level. And the reason why I think BYU should be considering this is that with LJ Martin's status still pending, whether he decides to run it back or he goes to the NFL, BYU needs quality depth at the running back position. Now, is Joshua Dye keen if LJ Martin does return to come to BYU and play second fiddle to a guy like this, or maybe even third fiddle with a guy like Sione MOA also in the mix? Maybe not, but I still think these are names that you need to monitor if you are a BYU fan when it comes to the transfer portal, because let's say LJ Martin does decide to test the NFL waters, and the draft declaration deadline is January 5th, 2026. So actually 3 days after the portal window will open officially is when a guy like LJ will have to formally declare whether he intends to pursue the NFL draft or not. Now, that does not mean that he has to enter the draft and withdraw by that date. He just has to declare that he's interested to be in the draft as a junior eligible prospect. He can withdraw from the draft. I think it's in like February is when he ultimately can withdraw, is the deadline for that. But he can test the waters there. And that would obviously cause BYU to have a conversation about, okay, what does our future look like at the running back position? Is Sione MOA capable of stepping into those shoes and being that guy? I'd be hard-pressed to think that you can expect one guy to fill what LJ Martin did for BYU this past season. That's why I think Joshua Dye will be a very welcome addition to BYU's roster if you were interested in playing at BYU. I don't know, as of recording this podcast, what interest level Joshua Dye and or BYU have in one another, but I'm just looking at it from the prism of BYU has dipped into Southern Utah University's talent pool the last few seasons and has found some really capable players. Think of guys like Anisi Purcell, who was a rotation piece on BYU's defensive front, Southern Utah University standout. Also, Kyle Sfarcioc, a rotating offensive guard, starting caliber offensive guard for BYU, also Southern Utah. Oh, the guy that he rotated with at times, Austin Leausa, also from Southern Utah University. SUU and Delane Fitzgerald have done a really, really good job at finding talent wherever it may be and developing it there in Cedar City. And BYU, they've been lucky enough to pick off some of that talent, and it's benefited their football program. That is why Joshua Dye, in my opinion, would be a welcome addition to BYU's roster, because he would, I think, very admirably at least fill the role of LJ Martin were LJ Martin to leave for the NFL. And he's got the proven production now at the FCS level. Now, do you expect him to run for 1,800 yards at the Power 4 level as he jumps from FCS? No, but it doesn't necessarily have to be 1,800 yards. He is obviously, because he's announced he's going to go into the portal. Obviously, the portal window doesn't open till January 2nd formally, but he's looking for a bigger opportunity for himself, and BYU can offer just that, playing at the Power 4 level, playing in the Big 12, and they can point guys, Jamal Williams, point at guys like Tyler Algier, and then obviously LJ Martin, say, hey, you come here, we're going to have you on a career arc, if everything goes according to plan, headed towards the NFL. That you can't argue with that. BYU has put NFL running backs in the NFL, and they've done it on a routine basis over the past, let's say, roughly 10 years easily, if not beyond that. It's pretty incredible that BYU for so long was not a place that running backs were known for because they threw the ball all over the field. But the last 10, 15 years, they've really become a nice kind of underrated running back factory. And that's what I think the selling point for a guy like in this case, Joshua Dye, I think you'd have him interested in saying, hey, you come here and you play the way that we play in our offense, the way that our offense is designed. It's an NFL-style offense. It's not by accident that what guys like Tyler Algier are doing in the NFL these days. It's it's not accident that they have stepped in and been key contributors right away. Jamal Williams, the same thing. I fully expect that LJ Martin, he will step into an offense that runs an outside or inside zone running scheme, and he's going to fit right in. Aaron Roderick has done an incredible job crafting this offense to be as NFL-esque as it possibly can be. And a lot of that comes with conversations they've probably had, and I know that they've had, with guys like Andy Reid, because Andy Reid is one of the foremost offensive minds in the NFL. And yes, spare me the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs are missing out on the playoffs this year. You know what? That's one thing, but you cannot argue that Andy Reid's track record is, pretty dang good when it comes to offensive football. And BYU's done a really good job patterning their offense after what he and other offensive innovators at the NFL level have done. And a lot of that is making sure that you have stud running backs who are in positions to succeed. So, yeah, I absolutely think that Joshua Dye is a name, much like Leona Lefau that we talked yesterday, for those of you who are everydayers about, as names that BYU, as Cougar fans, when it comes to the portal, you'll want to know. You'll sound like you're smarter. If and when they do decide to come to BYU, you'll have been in on them from the get-go because you've been listening to this podcast. That's kind of my goal with this podcast, is make you one of, if not the smartest BYU fan you can be. I am totally cool being your quote-unquote source, giving you the intel that when you're around the water cooler, people are like, wow, that guy really knows what he's talking about. And you know what your secret weapon is? Yeah, this podcast, Locked On Cougars. So, yeah, the latest name to file away, Joshua Dye, because I absolutely think that if and when a guy like LJ Martin decides to move on from BYU, a guy like Joshua Dye is a ready-made replacement out there on the portal side of things. The BYU absolutely should already, if they haven't, be kicking the tires on, and at least have some interest in him and talking with him about his interest potentially in playing for BYU football. So name to monitor, and obviously the latest name in terms of the portal, because the portal, it does not stop. There's no doubt about that. So as always, thank you for your continued support of this podcast. Absolutely enjoy what we do every single day here on the show, and hope you guys enjoy it as well with the holiday season here. If you want to share it with your family and friends and, give them the inside track on what your source material is, tell them about this podcast. And as always, thank you for your continued support of the podcast. Make sure you guys check out the new Everydayer Club. Be a part of the All Access tier to get exclusive content you won't find anywhere else. And more importantly than that, thank you as always for making this your first listen of the day. Go make your second listen, our friends over the Locked On College Football podcast. Your second listen of the day, what Spencer McLaughlin's doing, covering the sport as a whole, is absolutely killing it. And as always, thank you for being an everydayer right here on the Locked On Cougars podcast.